I'm Jason with Tenkara Talk, and today we're talking Tenkara line holders. Traditional Tenkara line holders were made out of bamboo. They were very simple, and as you can see, you just wind the line around it like that, and there's enough space for two lines actually, so you can put two different lines on here if you want. Now they look really cool, and they are really cool, however they're not very practical, just because, well, A, they're kind of delicate, but also when you take the line off, most lines, especially anything that's made out of nylon or fluorocarbon, gets a kink in it like that. So for example, this is a monofilament furled line. You can see it's going to have a bunch of kinks when I pull that off, and it's not really easy to get that out of a furled line. Same thing with a level line that's made out of fluorocarbon. It's just going to get a lot of kinks. So they're nice showpieces, but it's not really very practical for carrying on the stream. In modern day Tenkara, most people favor a rounded design, essentially a spool, because for one, it's easier to wind, and also it eliminates that kinking problem that the traditional line holders had. So this yellow spool is very popular in Japan, and basically you can put your fly in the middle here and just wind the line around and then stick your loop end in any one of the various slots that are around the spool. So it's got a foam center and then kind of a plastic ridge around it. And it's a very simple design. Unfortunately, these are kind of hard to find in the United States. I got these actually from Japan. So now I'm going to show you what our kind of US alternative is. Another type of spool that's popular in Japan that luckily we can find easily in the United States is the so-called blue spool. These are available through Tenkara USA, and they're made by a company called Meiho. They're popular in Japan, but they're also really easy to get here in the United States, and probably most of the Tenkara anglers you're going to run into are going to be fishing one of these. Iconic piece of gear of the sport, and very practical and very simple. The main difference between the yellow spool and the blue spool is that, as you can see, this is a foam in the center with just a kind of a plastic casing around the outside, and this is a full plastic construction with a foam insert. But the basic idea is the same. You wrap the line around, then you've got these various notches around the side where you just secure the loop end. One thing to note about the blue spools is that they do come in different sizes. The Tenkara USA blue spool is kind of the middle of the road. It's about 70 millimeters, and to me that's just about the best all-around size. It's just big enough to wind the line faster, but not so big that it takes up a lot of space in your pack. This one is really big by comparison, and of course you're going to be able to wind the line faster, and it's not going to create as much memory. However, I carry a very small, pretty minimalistic chest pack, and carrying a few of these is just not going to be doable. It's almost going to be bigger than my fly box. So unless you've got tons of space, this size probably really isn't going to work for you, and this one might be better. Now, if space is at a premium, the opposite end of the spectrum is this mini spool from Tenkara. And these, again, are also popular in Japan. Lots of people use these. It's identical to the Tenkara USA one. It's just smaller, but again, works the same way. And if you want something that's a little bit less bulky and space is at a premium, that's a good choice too. In Japan, you can also find Tenkara line spools that are made completely out of foam, like this one. So as you'll see, it's basically just white foam, and they've put a label on one side of it. In the middle, there's a small metal rod there where you can hook a fly, and then same principle applies. You just wind it around, you've got these notches where you can put the end of the line. Again, these are not easy to find in the United States. Every once in a while, you'll see them on eBay or something like that. But as an alternative, you can get these foam spools from tenkarafishing.com. And they're very simple, very minimalistic. Again, good for someone where space is at a premium or weight. Someone like an ultralight backpacker or just minimalist angler. Very simple, but they'll hold the line and not take up much space or add any weight to your pack. Up until now, I've only talked about line spools that you can purchase. However, you can also make your own. And here's a great example from the blogger Kiwi of a Tenkara line spool that was hand-carved out of moose antler. And this is a beautiful work of art. However, you don't have to be this elaborate. You can also make them out of something as simple as a pool noodle that's just cut in cross-section, and then put some notches in there to hold the line. There's lots of different ways you can do DIY Tenkara line spools, and if you Google it a little bit, you'll find some different ideas. So I also encourage people to try to make their own.